Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome back. Here with me, Paolo from California. And today I want to talk about something that I think is useful to a lot of people that are interested into either entrepreneurial activities or development. And so I want to do the review of this little book, Millionaire Success Habits by Graziosi. Now, before I start talking about it, let's address the elephant in the room, which is basically, do you believe that by reading this book you become a billionaire? Of course not, but that's not the point. The point is there something interesting inside this book? Is there something that is valuable for a lot of people to read? I think so, and especially if you want to self-develop yourself. So there are several ideas contained in this book. I've noted down at least 35 or 36 principles for improving yourself, especially in areas that have to do with personal success. And I'm going to talk only about a few that I think are very relevant. So one idea that is very interesting in this book is the idea of the peer influencing. So when you want to do something that takes out of the average, at least out of the average in a particular field, it is kind of a wrong thing to go and ask advice or opinions to people that have nothing to do with that particular field or that they've never done that particular thing, because you probably gonna get opinions and ideas that will revert you towards the average, and then you're gonna get depressed, somewhat affected or influenced by this type of ideas. And what the book suggests is to create, if not a community, but let's say the book basically suggests to find mentors or ask for advice to the people that have done the one thing that you're trying to do. That's basically, or that shares at least a part of the experience. The book also acknowledges that it's not always simple. Like, for example, if you're trying to be as good as Cristiano Ronaldo, it's not going to be possible for you to go and talk to Cristiano Ronaldo, the famous player. But you can kind of talk to people that are in one step behind that, but there's still 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. So, for example, there is a video from Stuart Ross in this community that addressed that concept as well. And I think this idea is pretty powerful. It's something that I knew, but it's powerful being able to read it in the form in which this idea is basically explained in this video. The second big idea that I really find interesting and also somewhat new, but nobody had explained it and framed it in a way that it becomes so scientific as it is explained in this book. And it's basically the idea of not working on your weakness. Let's say communication problems, or you cannot read, or you're not ordered, or you cannot run that fast. Basically, the book says no problems. Just don't waste your time on trying to become mediocre from, let's say, from not being really good to mediocre or average at something where you are not naturally inclined to. Just work on your strengths instead and take them from good to very good and from very good to excellent, because probably you have the talent to do that. Not only that, the next connected idea is that if you do that, just the act of working on something that you like or something where you succeed, it makes you having more momentum. And this is, I think, a very powerful idea. And I was experimenting it on myself. So, for example, when I work on the parts of advertising that has to do with data analysis and and the other part that has to do with creativity, it gives me so much pleasure. And I think I'm pretty good at it. It kind of starts a cycle in your brain of positive reinforcement. And I think this is another very, very powerful idea. The third idea, as I said, there are many, many ideas in this book. There are at least 35 or 36 principles how to, let's say, self-develop yourself. But I think the third one that really had an impact on me is everything has to do with sales and marketing in a business. And I'd say there are two ideas. There are 2 big ideas. The first one is people buy what they want. It is your job as an entrepreneur or marketer, or even as a manager in a company, to frame your message to people in a way that resonates with what they want. And as a part of that idea is also that you have to tell people stories, not just telling buy this or do this because these are the 3 benefits. People will not understand it in that way. You rather have to tell them a story that resonates with their wants. You can address their needs as only as part of the wants. And he makes a beautiful example here is where he basically is talking about his son that's been bullied at school, and he wants to teach his son not to affected by these bully acts and just disregard them and be self-confident. And instead of telling him this and telling him, when I was at your age, I had the same situation, I had to do this and that, he starts to tell him an entire fantastic story about a guy that was bullied, but then he transformed himself and then basically saves his bullies, and then they become friends. And then this guy basically tell his bullies he saved them despite they were the bullies because he didn't let them affecting his own life. And basically the message in the end was, don't let them affect your own life, but he builds this entire story around it. And that's an example. And I think it's a very powerful idea for whoever is in a position to either sell or market an idea. And that doesn't mean that you have to be an entrepreneur. It could be just you're a manager. The second part of the marketing sales advice, there's quite a bit here in this book, which I really liked it, is when it basically says that the sales doesn't end the point of sales. So he's suggesting that the type of relationship you have to have with your customers is continued relationship rather than a transactional relationship. So he basically says you have to keep writing them even after they have made the purchase. You have to keep informing them, you have to keep pleasing them, you have to keep helping them, because that creates basically a relationship. And eventually in the future, it represents gigantic differentiator. So he made an example of the way that he pleases all his tenants that pay the rent on time. And he says that because he does that, also the tenants are much less likely to leave and go in another place, because they feel that they're treated properly. They feel that they have a good relationship with their landlord, and so their mental barrier to go somewhere else, it's much higher. And I think that's very powerful. I think the book, as I said, if you take the book like, oh, I read this and I become a millionaire just reading this, that's kind of superficial. And it's not the reason why a person like me would suggested it. But it's really a lot of nice ideas. Some of these ideas you might already know, but the point is he makes them, like he frames them in a way that you can really visualize their powerfulness. And with that said, I hope I hope that you buy it. I don't get any money out of it, but I think it's a really good book. And I have been working on it for 3 months now, and I'm applying some of the teachings, and I am even using it for my marketing campaigns in other sectors. And I tell all my viewers that this is the book where I got most of my insights to start a new business. So I hope this was useful. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, and I'll be back soon with other suggestions and other books that I have been reading. Thank you.